Hello today, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to talk a little bit about adding integers and how we add integers. Again, as always, you can pause, skip ahead, repeat, whatever you need to hopefully make this enjoyable. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, ask the internet, ask another student, ask your favorite teacher, whoever that might be. Again, whether it's me or a fellow student or the internet, anyone at all. Here we go. In adding integers, there's a couple different patterns that show up very clearly, and so we're going to discuss those patterns one at a time. Let's say that you're adding two positive integers, 3 plus 4, 16 plus 18, 29 plus 127. 6 million. I mean, I could go on. You understand where I'm going with this. I'm just going to do 6,970, make it a little easier, plus 420. You've been adding these kinds of integers for so long, I'm really not going to take much time with it. When you add these integers, that's 7. You can put those in a calculator if you want, or put one number on top of the other one and get the answer there. This one, you can add those together, 156. You can check my work on a calculator if you'd like. This one right here, 7,390. Am I doing that right? Yes, 7,390. You know how to add two positive integers. You just got a starting point and you go up a certain amount. If they're both positive, this looks very familiar to you. You've been doing it all your life. Okay, here we go. I'm going to throw you a curveball. What if we have a negative integer plus another negative integer? What if I've got -3 plus -8? Or negative 12 plus -20? Sometimes you'll see them written in parentheses, so you can separate the plus, the addition sign, with the -20, making sure that's all one number. -300 plus -200. This pattern of adding two negative numbers, what does it mean? You're doing the exact same thing here that you did with the positives. In the positive numbers, you're just getting more positive. You had $3 and you're adding 4 to it. You're just getting a bigger number. When you're adding two negatives together, you're just doing the same thing. You're getting more negative. So this, if you have -3, you start at -3, and then you add 8 more negatives to that 3, it's going to become even more negative. Or it's going to go further down the number line to the left. It's going to go deeper into the negatives. Does that make sense? I'm holding off giving you the answer on purpose to see if you can come up with an answer in your mind. What would it be if I had 3 negatives and I put 8 more negatives onto it? What if I took $3 from you and then I took $8 more from you? All these ways to say that you're adding two negatives together. If these are apples, call these oranges. This number, when you add those together, is -11 because it's more negative. You've gone further down the number line. And that's what you do anytime you have two negatives added together. It's the same as this, except you're going down into the negatives. So -12 and -20, if you use a calculator, is -32. And -300, adding -200 onto it, is -500. If you want proof of this, you have to hit the negative button. Don't hit the minus sign up here. It's a negative number here. So if I do -300, and then I add to that, you have to push the negative button. This is the number, the negative number key. -200. Yep, I did it right. It's -500. If you push this minus sign up here and you try to do that, it's not going to work. -300, and I'm going to add. If I try to push this for the negative, a -200. If I try to do it that way, it says syntax error because it's trying to add and subtract at the same time. The computer doesn't know what to do with these two operations together. The calculator doesn't. So use this button when you're talking about a negative number. Let's make sure I did this other one right. negative 12 plus a negative 20. Yep, negative 32. And students, from now on, you'll be able to use a calculator. 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, all the way through high school into college, you'll be using a calculator. This is even a dinky calculator compared to the ones you'll be using later. The reason I say that is because if you're taking a positive number and you add a negative number to it, or if you start with a negative number and you add a positive number to it, these two situations are fairly the same. This is a little harder to maybe wrap the brain around. It's a little more abstract. So as you get confused or concerned, just use a calculator. So let's say I've got 3 plus negative 10, or 8 plus negative 4, or 7 plus negative 12, or 29 plus a negative 16. You can just enter in the calculator and have the answer. But to understand what's going on, let's see if this can make sense. You started out with $3, and then I add $10 of debt to it. Or I'm adding negative numbers into this. Well, it's going to get swallowed up. These three of these negative 10s are going to get swallowed up with that 3. And then if you find what's left over, and in your mind you can probably already see 7, that's what's left over, the negative 7. And another way to look at it is, let's say it looks like this, negative 10 plus 3. It's when you add, we'll learn about this, but you can add in any order. We'll talk about this, but if you have negative 10, if you start at negative 10 on the number line, and then you come up 3 from that negative 10, you've come all the way up to negative 7. Or if you have 10 negatives, and then you put 3 positives with it, these 3 positives, one way we say it is they cancel out, or you add them together, they add up to 0. Our lesson on additive inverses, positive 3s and negative 3s, they go to 0. And so you're left with 7 negatives. There's a number of ways to think about it. It's just a matter of what's the best way for you to understand it. If you start out with 8 positives and then 4 negatives go into it, 4 of those negatives are going to cancel out or go to 0. 4 of those positives, it's like subtracting it. 8 minus 4. We're left at 4. Let's make sure I'm doing my math right. 8 plus a negative 4, yep, is positive 4. And it's a matter of which way makes most sense. When you have plus a negative, it's like minusing. It's just like 7 minus 12. And it goes past the 0. If you start at 7 and you minus 12, you've minused all the 7s, and you have 5 more that get minused off. And to make sure that you're doing it right, 7 plus negative 12, you can use a calculator. So adding a negative is the same operation as subtracting. 29 minus 16 is 13. That's one way, or I guess I've given you about 2 or 3 ways to think about it. If you have negative 17 plus 8, if you start with a negative number, negative 20 plus 18, negative 39 plus 50. You can think of it this way. You have a starting point, negative 17. You're going to add, that means you're going up the number line to the right. You're going up further 8. And you go up 8, you don't quite make it to 0, but you do make it to negative 9. And to make sure on that, negative 17 plus 8. See if I'm doing it right. Yep, negative 9. And negative 20 plus 18. I come up the number line 18 from that negative 20. I don't quite make it to the 0, but I almost get there. I make it to negative 2. And then finally, negative 39. If I add 50 to that, that's going to take me past 0. 39 of those are going to go to 0, and I'll have 11 left over. And to make sure, negative 39 plus 50 is 11. These are the 4 different ways to look at adding integers. A different kind of concept on each of them. But I think with practice and refusing the calculator, you'll do all right. Good luck. I hope the assignment treats you well. Thanks for watching.